Hey you guys, it's Starkey with Kingdom on Wall Street here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wanted to just have a talk today about some of the things that I have been going through and what I have learned while going through those things. And I thought that I shared this just in case someone else is having the very same experience. Now, although I am not new to the Christian culture and to Christianity, I have just recently grown to a level as to where I am now. And during that growing process, it required a lot of praying and a lot of fasting. And a lot of seeking the face of God for some direction. And there were some things that I was dealing with myself that I really wanted God to deliver me from. So a few days ago, I was praying to God and I was asking Him about that particular thing that I really wanted Him to deliver me from. And I was praying and I was crying out to God, asking Him if, how long would I have to deal with this? When, is my time coming where I'll be able to walk away and never have to worry about that particular issue again? And then, the scripture came to mind about Paul in Second Corinthians and how he was talking to the Corinthians about the thorn in his flesh. And so that particular scripture, now he was talking to people, he was telling people how, they might think that, he's high and mighty, but, he's not. And then there's some things that he also has to deal with. And so during this time, Paul pretty much came clean to the Corinthians, and he told them that, that there's a thorn in his flesh that Satan has put there through one of his messengers, and he had prayed and asked God to deliver him from that and to remove that thorn 3 times. And God's response to him was that, and I'm just going to read it from the Bible. It says, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Now, I want to just roll back a little bit. While I was reading this, I was crying and I was reading the verse. I'm sorry, the chapter, and I was crying and I was leading up to it, and I was really, really hoping that, that Paul, talked about how he was brought away from that thorn and how that thorn was taken out of his flesh, but it wasn't. So while I was reading it and while I was leading up to that verse, I was crying. I was like, Lord, please don't let, don't let, him say that the thorn was never removed. And sure enough, well, it doesn't say that the thorn was never removed, but, God gave him a rather, I guess, passive answer as it relates to his request for the thorn to be removed, and told him that his grace is sufficient. Now, now at the time when I read that, I mean, my spirit was kind of broken. I was like, I don't want this. I don't want this thing to be a part of me at all. But then God told me that, when we are worshiping and we're seeking his face, we should be seeking his kingdom and we should be going after his will for our lives. And excuse me, a lot of people tend to think that his will for our lives would be, for example, like let's say if I am, looking to be a millionaire, okay, and I'm asking God to be a millionaire. I know that unless I have that relationship with God, my request for to be a millionaire, is probably not going to be as, I'm sorry, him granting my request to be a millionaire, it's not going to be as high as someone who actually has that relationship with him. So a lot of people tend to think that that our desire to be, to follow his kingdom and to follow his will is only based on, the opposite of like material requests. And I hope I made that clear. But it's but from reading this, I was able to learn that it's actually from a much broader standpoint. It's from our entire lives, both spiritual and physical. So, God just pretty much let me know that, hey, like, if you want to suffer for my sake, if you want my will to be done, then suffer with this particular thing and, and just deal with it and, allow my grace to work in your life. Now, because of that, a lot of people might also tend to think that, hey, like he's not going to remove the thorn, so it's okay to just go and sin and have fun and do what I want to do. But that took me back um, to Romans, the 6th chapter. And this is Paul also speaking here. It says, what shall we say then? Shall we continue to sin that grace may abound? In the second verse, it says, God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? So the whole point here is that even though we might not, even though we might have that thorn in our flesh, it is our responsibility to still resist the devil. It's our responsibility to still resist Satan, and to continue to say no, to continue to bypass those temptations, and and continue to follow God. And it might not feel good to have to deal with that. It might not feel good to have to cry out to God and ask Him for help. But it's during that particular time where we're able to depend on Him, and we're able to go to Him for our strength, and we're able to find our strength in Him. So for those of you who might be dealing with something in particular, anything in your life, that you just can't seem to shake and you can't seem to let go, or you've been making progress and that temptation is still there, be steadfast and be encouraged and continue to say no to that and continue to move forward with that. But do know that suffering is for the glory of God. That suffering is for God to reveal His grace and His power and His strength in your life. So don't give up. Stay encouraged. Don't give in to the tricks of Satan, and you'll win. You'll come out just fine. So I just wanted to post that video and share that story, and hopefully it'll help someone else as it has helped me. And I will be talking to you next time. Thanks for watching.